Yeah. Do you have anything to ask from last session? We were talking about yoga and sanyog, which is union and communion or serendipity. Oh, I think I'm muted. Yeah. Bottom left corner.
Am I muted?
Now you're back.
Okay. I have this general vision of what you were talking, and it was all making sense.
Okay. So he had just paused he was talking, he defined yoga and sanyog, union, or just a meeting. Yoga is any sort of meeting, and sanyog is a meeting which is towards completeness. And these two things are defined. And then he talked about what completeness is. So for humans, completeness is with understanding and evidencing that understanding. And although we haven't been successful in that yet, but there have been lots of attempts, there have been lots of efforts in the direction of completeness. And so he was saying, even my having achieved, like, this sort of understanding is a result of those efforts towards completeness. So those serendipitous coming together, meetings, all led to my also getting this understanding and then being able to share it with everyone and live according to it. So then that was his talk on serendipity or sanyog. And then he started talking about traditionally how is yoga, how is sanyog or serendipity thought of. So we'll start from there.
मेरे साथ सुखद घटनाएं इसी विधि से होती.
Alright, then he paused that see, the fact is that all of us have seeds of this serendipity and completeness, seeds of this completeness within us. And then what we can do is, when those seeds will bloom and sprout, we don't know. But what we can do is collect as much likelihood and possibility. And once we do that, then these three elements of the right time, our will and effort, and then this serendipity all come together, and eventually it does fruit. And that's how it has happened for me, at least. That's where he ended.
एक बात ये स्पष्ट करना चाहा, और संयोग जब होते,
This was one thing that I wanted to clarify.
हैं, दो आदमी एक जिज्ञासा के मिलते हैं, एक प्रयास के मिलते हैं.
And then this, when we say that some serendipitous event has happened, we usually say it when two like-minded people meet or two people sharing the same curiosities meet.
होने के लिए संभावनाओं को और समीचीन किया जाए, करता हूँ. शायद ये गणित सबको अच्छा लगे. सुखद घटनाएं इसी विधि से होती रही. एक बात ये स्पष्ट करना चाहा, और संयोग जब होते हैं, दो आदमी एक जिज्ञासा के मिलते हैं, एक प्रयास के मिलते हैं, वो उसका नाम है संयोग.
So when people of the same, sharing the same curiosity or sharing the same efforts meet, we usually give that the name of serendipity.
उसका कसौटी, संयोग का कसौटी, और
तीसरा
बनता है, वो समाधान के अर्थ में हो, व्यवस्था के अर्थ में हो, इसी या अखंड समाज के अर्थ में हो.
And the third kind of serendipity that we can call is when this coming together or this meeting is for resolution, for orderliness, or for what else?
व्यवस्था के अर्थ में हो, इसी या अखंड समाज के अर्थ में हो, सार्वभौम व्यवस्था के अर्थ में हो, तभी संयोग की बात सार्थक हो पाता है.
So when it is in terms of or for an undivided society or for a universal order, that is when this notion of serendipity is actually truly achieved. Sarthak ho pata is when it truly becomes meaningful, when the full meaning of serendipity is actually lived out. And then he explains why, because we've also thought of it as, okay, when two people happen to meet and they share the same curiosity, we call that also serendipity. When two people happen to meet and they share the same their efforts have been in the same direction. We call that also serendipity. But this third kind is the real kind of serendipity. It is when meetings happen that are where both the coming together is for or is towards resolution, towards orderliness, towards undivided society, towards a universal order. That's when it's truly serendipitous. And then he explains why.
एक ही विचार की व्यक्ति मिलने पर मैत्री होता है कहते हैं, अभी भी इस बात की प्रचलन है, किंतु उसमें काफी दूर दूर तक की कहीं छितरिया गए तो उसका बहुत सारा
When like-minded people meet, they do say that that is also serendipity. That has been prevalently seen to be serendipitous. But that has also been analyzed to a great degree by society itself.
तर्क हुआ, दो डाकू मिलने से, दो अपराधी मिलने से, दो पापी मिलने से, दो माने गलती करने वाले मिलने से, ये सहविचारी होते हैं, क्या ये सब ठीक होते हैं?
Which is that, so this analysis has also been done socially, that what about when two dacoits meet, two thieves meet, two criminals meet, or two people who commit similar kinds of mistakes meet? All of these are also like-minded people. But is that also something which is good? Is that also serendipitous? That has been analyzed.
इसका उत्तर निकला नहीं होते हैं. होना क्या चाहिए?
And the answer to that has been that no, of course they're not, and that should not be happening. So what should be happening?
होना क्या चाहिए तो स्वयं खो जाए, ऐसा हो गया था, किंतु अभी क्या है, निर्देशित किया जा सकता है अखंड समाज सार्वभौम व्यवस्था के अर्थ में.
So when I would ask then, okay, then what should happen? So then the answer would always be, you search for it yourself. That was the only answer I ever received on this question. And now we can identify and determine for sure exactly what it is that should happen. And what should happen is that these coming together should be for an undivided society and for a universal order. That is really truly serendipity.
हम यदि एक विचारी होते हैं, वो अनुसंधान शोध सफल हो सकता है.
When we are like-minded for undivided society and for universal order, then that coming together can actually be successful. That is the only meeting and union that can actually succeed and fructify completely. Everything else is bound to fail, basically.
मेरा कहने की मतलब है, तात्पर्य यही है.
This is what I mean to say. That is the implication.
हर कोने से हम शुभ के केंद्र में अपने एक कोण को जोड़ने में हर मनुष्य समर्थ है. इस विधि में अभी आप हमारा बीच जो.
So in this way, each of us, every single individual is capable of joining any situation or any angle to the center of goodness. So no matter what the terrible situations are, we can be, all different directions with bad situations, basically, with problems. You can be surrounded by problems, but we all have the capacity and capability in us to connect it to the center of goodness and well-being. We can go from anywhere and move towards goodness and well-being. That's what she's saying. And goodness and well-being is this undivided society and a universal order, resolution for everyone, understanding for everyone.
जो एक संप्रेषणा की इस विधि में अभी आप हमारा बीच जो एक संप्रेषणा की क्रम है वो चलेगी.
And it is in this manner that this communication or this communication between you and me will proceed further. It is for this actually, to connect anywhere that we may be to this core, this center of goodness. Hi, Prachi.
Hi.
Hi, we just started.
Yeah, I just lost track of time actually. I was on time. Like I sat 5 minutes before 7. I started doing something and then I forgot.
That happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. ठीक है.
तो न्यायपूर्वक हम जीना बना तो मूल मुद्दा हमारा प्रामाणिकता की स्थली बनी अपना परिवार.
So when I became capable of living in justice, the main issue was the place of my evidencing, the pramanikta ki sthali, the locus of my evidence became my family.
परिवार में हम परिवारजनों के आंखों में हम ठीक चल रहा हूं ये आ जाता है.
Now, in the eyes of my family members, this has arrived, this fact has arrived that I am moving in the right direction. I am doing fine. This has been acknowledged by my family members.
ये हर व्यक्ति अपने में आजमा सकता है. एक बात ये मिलती है.
This is something every individual can check out for themselves, in themselves. This is the first thing that we find.
उसके बाद न्यायपूर्वक चलने के बाद हमारे जितने भी मित्र परिवार है उनमें भी हम हमारा पहचान को सटीकता से दे पाता हूँ.
Then in living in justice in this way, when I move forward, first it was his family, then he said, then all the friendly families of my families, within those also, in that circuit of friendly families also, I have been able to present my identity, to establish my identity as a just individual.
ये भी मेरे साथ गुजरी है. उसके
This has also transpired for me.
बाद न्यायपूर्वक जीना मुझसे हमारा अधिकार में हो गया. तब से जो आगंतुक आते हैं थोड़े देर के बाद उनके साथ भी हमारा पहचान हम स्थापित करने में समर्थ.
And since then, since the point where I felt like I have the authority of being able to live in justice, like now I am established in living in justice. Ever since then, and for that he said, first the evidence is in my family and then in the circuit of friendly family. When he's able to establish himself as a just person, where everyone there is able to accept, no, this person is just and I feel reassured with him. After that, he feels like, okay, now I have this authority on justice, actually. After that, he's saying, after that, I feel that even when visitors come, strangers come to visit, even among those visitors, I have been able to establish my identity with them as being just.
थोड़े देर के बाद उनके साथ भी हमारा पहचान हम स्थापित करने में समर्थ होता गया.
I became capable of establishing my identity with them as well. And his identity is a just human being.
ये भी हुआ है. तो भले हम कम अपना पहचान को स्थापित कर पाए हों किंतु स्थापित तो हुई.
So this has also happened. And however small this radius of my identity has been, however small the radius in which I've been able to establish my identity has been, this establishment of my identity has certainly happened. Like they have definitely recognized me as this just individual.
उसका यही गवाही है. मैं स्वयं जहां आकर के साधना किया, शोध किया, वो जगह, वो भाषा, वहां के लोग मेरे लिए नितांत परिचित रहे.
And the testimony to that is this place where I came to do my sadhana, my meditation, that the people of this place, the language and this region, all of these were completely alien to me. This was very far from his home and he'd never known these people, this language, anything.
सबसे बड़ी बात तो ये सब पूरा अपरिचित, वो रहन सहन, खान पान सब अपरिचित.
So this is the biggest point, that they were complete strangers. They were completely unknown. Their ways of living, their lifestyles, their food and mannerisms, all of that was all unknown and strange.
रहते हुए मैं वहाँ रहा, वो ये वही जगह हमारे लिए ऐसा अनुभव कराया। सारे बंधु यहीं हैं, सारे आप यहीं हैं, यहीं आपका जो शुभ चाहने वाला यहीं है, आपका अभिभावक यहीं है, आपके मित्र यहीं हैं, आपके बंधु परिवार यहीं हैं। इस
But as I lived there, this very place allowed me to experience that all my brethren are here, all the sagely people are here, all my family and friends, these are my family and friends. They're all here. This is what this place made me experience. The people of this place made me experience.
अभिभावक यहीं हैं, आपके मित्र।
So all my brethren, family, friends, even like parental figures, all of these different types of relationships, this place allowed me to experience as my very own. The same.
मित्र यहीं हैं, आपके बंधु परिवार यहीं हैं। इस बात को मुझे अनुभव कराया। इसको क्या भाषा दिया जाए, पूछा जाए तो यही लगता है। तो हमारा नेक इरादा।
So this is what this place allowed me to experience. So then what language should I give to this experience? And when I think about that, then this is the only language that I can find, that I was able to have established or live in justice even with complete strangers over here. All of these people were completely strangers to me.
हमारा नेक इरादा।
Oh, sorry. So the only language that one can form is that this was due to my, thanks to my nek irada, my noble intention. So then, my noble intention, he starts off with. What is this noble intention?
जो कुछ भी रही है, उसके साथ संयोग सदा सदा स्वीकारिता के साथ जुड़ता गया।
So whatever my noble intention has been, along with that, there has always been this serendipity that consistently got associated with this noble intention of mine. With my, this is, he's saying, with my acceptance also. I was also accepting of this serendipity. That is very important, actually. So many things come to you, but if you don't accept them, then you can't really make the most of it, right? So every time that, he had a noble intention, and then there were all these serendipitous things happening, and he was very accepting of them constantly, and that's how he has moved forward.
यही मेरा जो कुछ भी अभी तक की सार्थकता सफलता का कारण बनी हुई है।
And it is these that have remained to be the cause for all my success and sarthakta. Efforts becoming meaningful.
मैं समझता हूँ हर मानव अपना सार्थकता और सफलता को अपने चाहत में तो बनाया ही रखा है।
As I understand it, every single human being keeps their success and meaningfulness, at least holds their success and a meaningfulness of their efforts, at least within their desire. So at least all of us at least desire that we'll be successful, or that all our efforts will be meaningful.
ये पुनः हम उसी जगह में पहुंचते हैं। ये जो चाहत है नेक इरादे में तभी बनता है तो जहां कहीं भी हम समझदारी के साथ लेस रहते हैं।
And this desire of ours, it only converts into a noble intention when we are also imbued with understanding. So we have this universal desire for success and meaningfulness, but how does this desire convert into actually meaningful and noble intentions and programs. That is when we have understanding to match this desire.
हमारा समझदारी ही नेक इरादा का पूरा स्रोत है.
It is our understanding that is the whole soul source of our noble intents.
इस स्रोत को हम कभी भी भुलावा नहीं दे सकते, ना हम इसके विपक्ष में अथवा उसका विरोध में कुछ हम सोच भी नहीं सकते.
And we can never भुलावा देने को क्या कहते हैं? We can never deny this source, and nor can we think of something in opposition or in contradiction to this source of all our noble intentions, which is our understanding.
क्योंकि जो शुभ है, नेक का मतलब है शुभ है. शुभ जो है हर व्यक्ति के लिए स्वीकृत है, और स्वीकार के साथ ही हर इरादाएं अपने में प्रयत्न पूर्वक सार्थक होता हुआ हम स्वयं देखे हैं, आप भी देख सकेंगे. प्रयत्न पूर्वक हर इरादाएं अपने में प्रयत्न पूर्वक सार्थक होता हुआ हम स्वयं देखे हैं, आप भी देख सकेंगे और देखे भी होंगे.
Because all noble intentions, so noble itself is for well-being, for goodness, and all such noble intentions for well-being or for goodness is something, are things that we can see succeed. We can see succeeding with the help of our efforts. So noble intentions can succeed with the help of our efforts. And this is something that I have also seen. I've seen my noble intentions succeeding.
मेरे अनुसार हर व्यक्ति शुभ चाहता ही है, शुभ घटित होने के लिए ही आप हम सब.
Oh, because goodness is acceptable to everyone. He said, because goodness is acceptable to everyone and noble itself is goodness, therefore, when we put our efforts towards it, then all our noble intentions towards goodness succeed. And I have seen them succeed. Every individual desires goodness naturally.
हर व्यक्ति शुभ चाहता ही है, शुभ घटित होने के लिए ही आप हम सब इंतजार कर रहे हैं. इंतजार करते समय में हमारा संबंध के बारे में मुद्दा आती है. संबंध को हम पहचानना.
All of us desire goodness and all of us are awaiting goodness. And while we wait, this issue that arises is of our relationships. So we are all individuals waiting for goodness. But what do we do in the meantime? What is our relationship going to be? So in this regard, this
मुद्दा आती है. संबंध को हम पहचानना तभी संभव है, संबंधों में जो निहित मूल्य जिस प्रयोजन के लिए निहित है, वो प्रयोजन, इन दोनों को पहचानना आवश्यक है.
And recognizing our relationships is only possible when we understand the purpose and of the relationship and the inherent values in line with that purpose of that relationship. So we can only while we await goodness, that is what we all want, right? So of course, that is the ultimate purpose of all relationships. But since each relationship is slightly different, it aligns differently with the purpose. And so what we have to recognize when we are recognizing our relationship with everyone is the purpose of our relationship in line with that ultimate purpose that is shared, and also the inherent values, the inherent value of that particular relationship, of that particular type of relationship.
यही अध्ययन है.
And that itself, recognizing and understanding these, the purpose and value of each relationship, that itself is studied. That is what has to be studied.
अध्ययन पूर्वक यही प्रयोजन, इन दोनों को पहचानना आवश्यक रहा। यही अध्ययन है।
So it has been necessary to recognize the purpose and the values inherent in each relationship, and that itself is study.
अध्ययन पूर्वक यही पहचानने में आता है।
And when we do any sort of study, it is this that we recognize, really. This is what we end up identifying upon studying relationships, the meaning and purpose of each relationship.
संबंध तभी पहचान में आता है उसमें निहित मूल्य और उसका प्रयोजन। प्रयोजन समझ में आने के बाद मनुष्य जो है ना स्वाभाविक है उसमें निष्ठान्वित होता ही है। निष्ठा
So when we recognize a relationship, it is its purpose and its value that we recognize. And upon recognizing the purpose of any relationship, the person naturally becomes committed towards that purpose.
अन्वित होने का फलस्वरूप मनुष्य जो है ना उसमें पारंगत होता है। पारंगत होने के बाद फलवती होता ही है।
And as a consequence of being committed to the purpose, the human being succeeds or fulfills. Parangat hona is to be able to fully complete then that purpose. And as a consequence of that fulfillment of the purpose, the human being becomes happy.
जो है ना उसमें पारंगत होता है। पारंगत होने के बाद फलवती होता ही है।
And that is, and as a consequence of this, it fruits. This attains fruition, that relationship.
यही मेरा इतने दिन की जो कुछ भी हमने देख पाए हैं इसी विधि से देख पाए हैं। मैं सोचता हूँ सफलता का विधि ये काफी सरल है, इसमें कोई परेशानी नहीं।
This is what I have seen in all this time. This is what I've been able to understand. And I feel that success from this method is pretty straightforward. There's no difficulty in this, really.
और इस मुद्दे पर मेरे उदाहरण के आधार पर यह भी लोगों का एक आक्षेप रही है, या ऐसा सोचना आक्षेप के स्थान पर यह भी सोचना रहा कि सुगमता को सोचते रहे। तो ऐसा भी मुझसे प्रश्न किया गया था कि अच्छे विद्वान लोग।
And on this issue, several people have also questioned me in this regard. That is, they have akshep is like challenged me also in this regard on the issue of sugamta. Sugamta is on the issue of efficiency or ease of moving on this path, on the ease of moving on this path. Yeah.
तुम तो 20 वर्ष 40 वर्ष 50 वर्ष लगाया, वो तो हम लगा नहीं सकते हैं, तो हमको कैसा कतलगत होगा? तुम 40।
So what they have questioned me on the ease of this path is that, well, you spent 20 years, 40 years in achieving this in your sadhana. So, but we can't spend 20 or 40 years doing this the same way you did. So then how will we achieve it?
इस वर्ष में पाया हुआ चीज को हमको कैसा 1 वर्ष में पता लगाओगे?
So how will you help us understand something in 1 year that it took you 20 years to understand?
इसका बहुत सारे उदाहरण मैंने नियति में रखा ही है। तो सर्वप्रथम इस धरती पर जो आदमी चक्का घुमाया।
But there are so many countless examples to address this that already exist in our history, which such as when the first human being ever used a wheel for the first time on this planet.
वो कितना शताब्दियों के पास बाद घुमाया होगा, इसको कौन बताएगा?
How many centuries must it have taken for him to finally be able to roll a wheel? Who will answer how many centuries it took the first person to roll a wheel? them. He doesn't say male or female.
अब वो जो चक्का घुमाने वाली बात तो पहले से था ही, उसको स्वचालित रूप में चक्का घूमने योग्य हम अभी वैज्ञानिक युग में उपलब्धि कर ली.
And then that rolling of the wheel already existed for a long time in history, but then that automated rolling of the wheel is something that we've now achieved in the scientific age. There's something we have attained already, and now at this point.
और उसके पहले साइकिल को चलाना, मानव अपना दो चक्के को घुमाने वाली बात आ ही चुकी थी.
And before that, humans were riding cycles, which is they were moving on two wheels.
ये सब बातें क्रमागत विधि से आई है.
All these things have emerged in a sequential manner.
तो जहाँ कहीं भी एक चक्का घुमाने के लिए भले शताब्दियां बीत गई हो, किंतु घूमने की बात उसको एक दूसरे के साथ क्रियान्वयन करने के लिए, प्रमाणित करने के लिए कोई समय नहीं लगा.
So although it took centuries for us to first start rolling a wheel, it didn't take any time at all to actually just share that achievement with one another.
और जल्दी जल्दी चलने लगी, सबने चलाने योग्य हो गया. पहले जो मोटर गाड़ी जो चलाया, उसके बाद उस समय में ये अपूर्व बात थी, मोटर जो है ना स्वचालित रूप में.
After that, it happened rapidly, and now then everyone started rolling wheels. And the first person who ever rode a motor vehicle, that took a very long time, but now everybody rides motor vehicles.
चलता है, एक आदमी चला लेता है, ये बात रहे. अभी जो घर घर में 2, 4, 10 आदमी होगा तो 11 बने 10 आदमी वो ड्राइवर भी रहते हैं. इस ढंग की बातें.
Now you see things like if there are 10 people in a family, then there will be 10 or 11 drivers even. You even see things like that. So it's become so widespread, so rapidly.
आकार होने लग गए. इससे ये पता, इन उदाहरणों से ये पता लगता है, तो कोई एक बात घटित होने के लिए कितने भी हम परिश्रम किए हों, कितने भी समय लगा हो, उसको मानव परंपरा में उसकी आवश्यकता हो, उस स्थिति में वो एक दूसरे के साथ पहुंचने में देर नहीं होती है.
So from all these examples, we recognize that no matter how long it takes for something to initially emerge in the human tradition, if that is a genuine requirement among humans, then it doesn't take any time, very much time, for it to spread across humans, among the humans.
पहले दिन बिजली को जो तैयार किए गए, उसके लिए तो बरसों लग गई, किंतु तैयार होने के बाद बिजली को पुनः विपुल बनाने में वो कोई देर नहीं लगी. सारा देश.
The first time electricity was discovered or invented, it took really long for that to happen. But once it was identified or understood, after that its propagation and its multiplication did not take much time at all.
देश बनाने लगा, सारा देश को उपलब्ध है ये सब बात.
All countries started producing electricity. It is now accessible to each country on this planet.
बातें आप हमको पता है. इस ढंग की एक काम है. इस ढंग से ही अपन एक वाक्य में आ सकते हैं, हर शोध और अनुसंधान समय तो लगाता ही है. शोध और अनुसंधान से मिली जो फलन है, उसका वितरण बहुत शीघ्र रूप में होता है.
So this is how this goes. And from this, what we find is that any sort of research and development, it takes its own time. That can take a lot of time. But once it has been researched and developed, then its multiplication and its sharing doesn't take much time.
क्योंकि उसका आवश्यकता मानव में निहित रहता है.
Because its requirement is the need for that which has been developed is present, is inherent among human beings.
ये देखा गया. इस अर्थ में हम बहुत ही सटीक हम सोच सकते हैं, ये जो कुछ भी अभी तक उपलब्धियां हुई है, उसके मूल में ये रही है. क्या चीज? अनुसंधान या शोध बना ही रहा.
So this is something that has been seen. In fact, we find that all the achievements human beings have had till now, there has been some research and development that has remained in the background of any of our achievements. Every single achievement has had this at its base.
अनुसंधान शोध के साथ ही हर उपलब्धियां हुई हैं, वो हर उपलब्धि के बाद वो जो लोकव्यापीकरण हुई है वो शीघ्रातिशीघ्र होते आई है.
All our achievements have been through research and development, and then its popularization has happened rapidly.
इसी प्रकार समझदारी भी एक अनुसंधान के लिए समय लगा होगा, किंतु वो समझदारी मनुष्य के लिए आवश्यक यदि आ गई है, आवश्यकता के रूप में है, वो मनुष्य को स्वीकार होता है, उस स्थिति में इसको लोकव्यापीकरण होने में कोई देरी नहीं है. ये बात समझ में आता है. तो उसका
Similarly, understanding also, it took some time for that research or discovery to happen. But if it is genuinely necessary or needed for humankind, then its popularization and its sharing and what's the word, like dissemination will not take much time. That can happen rapidly.
मूल तत्व यही है, हम जो समझे रहते हैं समझाने की माध्य से है. उसका मूल तत्व यही है, हम जो समझे रहते हैं समझाने की माध्य से है, किए हुआ को कराने की माध्य से है, सीखा हुआ को सिखाने की माध्य से लोकव्यापीकरण होना है.
माध्यम से. So,
माध्यम.
the fundamental element here is that which we understand, समझे हुए को समझाने के माध्यम से. Okay, that which we understand, we can share through our ability to. How that doesn't fit. समझे माध्यम से.
Human, let's listen to it again.
समझे रहते हैं समझाने की माध्य से है, किए हुआ को कराने की माध्य से है, सीखा हुआ को सिखाने की माध्य से लोकव्यापीकरण होना है.
So dissemination or popularization happens via explaining that which we've understood, helping others do that which we have done, and teaching others that which we have learned to do, which is like, so the first is the level of understanding, intellectual. Kiye hue ko karana, to do is at the level of our interactions, our way of living. Like, if we know how to behave in a just manner, then we can help others learn to behave in a just manner. So that is in the realm of behavior. And then sikha or sikhana in Hindi, this is different from samajhna. So sikhna is learning and teaching in the realm of skills, whereas samajhna and samjhana is in the realm of theoretical understanding. So we can also teach the skills that we have learned within ourselves. And through this process, via this process, dissemination or popularization or the sharing of anything new happens.
और इसमें से समझा हुआ को समझाने से जो बात थी, उसमें हमारे पास जो खामियां रही, त्रुटियां रही, वो उसकी आपूर्ति के लिए ये अनुसंधान का प्रस्ताव है.
And so out of these, this explaining what we have understood, whatever the lacuna or shortcomings had remained in that aspect of human living, this proposal is here to fulfill those shortcomings.
ये बात समझ में आता है, मुझको समझ में आया है, आपको भी समझ में आएगी.
So this is something that is understandable. I have understood this, and so can you.
इसके बाद न्याय को प्रयोजनों के आधार पर हम पहचानने जाते हैं, तो प्रयोजन यही बनती है कि पोषण, संरक्षण और माने प्रामाणिकता जिज्ञासा और अभ्युदय।
So now, when we go about understanding relationships in terms of purposes, then the only purposes that that we that can be identified are nurturing or nourishment, protection, curiosity, authenticity and curiosity, or Pramanikta is authenticity or evidencement, you could say something like that. Authenticity is the right word. And that is associated with curiosity. And finally, Abhyuday. Abhyuday was flourishment, essentially. All of this will be elaborated. These are the kinds of purposes we can identify within relationships. Nourishment, protection, authenticity, curiosity and flourishment.
ये प्रधान मुद्दा बनता है।
These become the primary issue.
अभ्युदय का मतलब होता है सर्वतोमुखी समाधान और व्यवस्था में जीना, और सर्वतोमुखी समाधान और व्यवस्था में जीने का प्रमाण ही है अभ्युदय।
So flourishment or abhyuday means all round resolution and living in order. And all round resolution and living in order itself results in flourishment.
निरंतर हम व्यवस्था में जी सकते हैं और अभ्युदय की भागीदार हम बन ही सकते हैं।
So we can all live in continuous order, and therefore we all can become participants in flourishment.
इस विधि से हमारा जो अभ्युदय है बहुत सारा संबंधों के साथ, करीब करीब सभी संबंधों के साथ जुड़ा ही रहता है।
And in this way, this flourishment remains associated with several kinds of relationships, with most kinds of relationships. This flourishment is associated.
हर संबंध में अभ्युदय छुपा ही है।
Flourishment is hidden within every single relationship, and flourishment was all-round resolution and living in order. So every relationship at some level is about achieving all-round resolution and living in order.
तो प्रयोजन अभ्युदय है, अर्थात समाधान है। समाधान के अर्थ में ही हम सेवा करते हैं।
So the purpose is flourishment, that is, it is resolution. And it is for resolution that we do seva, that is, that we offer service.
समाधान के अर्थ में ही हम कृतज्ञ होते हैं। समाधान के अर्थ में ही हम प्रेम करते हैं। समाधान के अर्थ में ही हम मैत्री करते हैं। समाधान
It is for resolution that we offer service. It is for resolution that we feel gratitude. It is for resolution that we feel love. It is for resolution that we, what did he say?
हम प्रेम करते हैं। समाधान के अर्थ में ही हम मैत्री करते हैं। समाधान के अर्थ में ही विश्वास करते हैं। समाधान के अर्थ में ही हम संपूर्ण प्रकार की मानव व्यवहार में प्रसक्त रहते हैं। सुख
It is for resolution that we engage in relationships. It is for resolution that we विश्वास करते हैं. So we trust one another, and it is for resolution that we remain engaged in all sorts of human behavior. Behavior is interaction between humans and other humans.
का अनुभव करते हैं। ये व्यवहार में प्रसक्त रहते हैं, सुख का अनुभव करते हैं।
And it is for resolution that for resolution we engage in all sorts of human behavior and feel the happiness of that, from that.
ये काम करते हैं।
This is what we do as humans.
इस प्रकार से हमारा अभ्युदय सर्वतोमुखी समाधान और सुख के अर्थ में वैभवित है।
In this way, our flourishment is manifest as all-round resolution and सर्वतोमुखी समाधान और सार्वभौम व्यवस्था, universal order.
अभ्युदय सर्वतोमुखी समाधान और सुख के अर्थ में
Sorry, it's all-round resolution and happiness. So flourishment is manifest as all-round resolution and happiness. So for resolution, we engage in these sorts of behaviors with other human beings, and as a result, we become happy.
भवित है। ये समाधान किसके साथ नहीं चाहिए भाई? समाधान को सोचा जाए, बच्चों के साथ भी चाहिए, बुजुर्गों के साथ भी चाहिए, मित्रों के साथ भी चाहिए, साथी सहयोगियों के साथ भी चाहिए।
We want resolution with everyone. With who do we not want resolution with? We want it with our children. We want it with our friends, with our colleagues, with our parents.
बुजुर्गों के साथ भी चाहिए, मित्रों के साथ भी चाहिए, साथी सहयोगियों के साथ भी चाहिए, और भाई बहन के भी चाहिए, और सभी जगह में समाधान की आवश्यकता है।
With the elderly, with our siblings, that is, resolution is necessary in all areas, in all relationships.
इन समाधान निरंतर किससे आती है? संबंध को पहचानने की बात, ठीक है? तो
And where does this continuous resolution come from? It comes from recognizing relationship.
मूल्यों को निर्वाह करने की स्थिति,
And in the state of fulfilling or living out the value of each relationship.
बनती है। मूल्य का स्वरूप बनता है दो, कृतज्ञता एक बनता है। कृतज्ञता, गौरव, श्रद्धा, विश्वास, प्रेम।
So, and what is the form that these values take, the value of each relationship? The form that they take is as gratitude, which is one, then pride or glory, gaurav, simplicity, reverence.
गौरव, श्रद्धा, विश्वास, प्रेम, माने ममता, सम्मान, स्नेह, इस प्रकार
Trust, love, maternal care or nurturance. What else? There's affection. These are the forms of values of each relationship. And he's basically listing all the values, relationship values.
प्रकार से 9 मूल्य बनता है।
In this way, there are 9 values in relationships.
मैंने पहचानने में आता है।
That is, they can be recognized. We are able to recognize 9 values within relationships.
कृतज्ञता को हम स्वाभाविक रूप में हमें पहचानते हैं कि जहाँ कहीं भी हमको हमारे अभ्युदय के लिए हमारा सहायता कहीं से भी मिला हो, जिस किसी से भी मिला हो, उसकी स्वीकृति हो जाने पर इसका नाम है कृतज्ञता।
We recognize gratitude very naturally as whenever we are able to accept or acknowledge the contribution of anyone in any form towards our growth and our flourishment, that appreciation or acknowledgement of their contribution itself is what we give the name of gratitude.
जो मैंने कर चुके हैं, जो घटित हो चुका है, उसको स्वीकार करने वाली क्रिया का नाम है कृतज्ञता।
So that which has happened, that which people have already contributed, and acceptance, the activity of accepting all of that, that activity is being called gratitude.
तो अभ्युदय के अर्थ में ही सारे स्वीकृतियां हो पाता है और किसी अर्थ में स्वीकृतियां नहीं हो पाता है।
And this acceptance, in fact, all acceptances are only possible when they are in terms of flourishment. There is no other context in which we can accept or acknowledge any contribution. That means we recognize that we all want flourishment, right? And then we recognize that, oh, this person has contributed towards that desire of mine. If I don't recognize this desire for flourishment, then I will not be able to appreciate any contributions also in that direction. In fact, any sort of contribution, any sort of acceptance that happens in the context of this universal desire for flourishment. I think we'll pause here since it's time, 8:04, and you can resume. Tomorrow is Saturday, है ना? So we'll start again on Wednesday. Anything
Alright.
else? Huh?
No, overall very interesting, this aspect of how everything comes from recognizing of relationship. I was still contemplating there only. Like all
Yeah.
Samaj understanding is ability to understand a relationship.
Yeah. And we are all individually looking at goodness, waiting for goodness. And as we do this, we interact with one another. So all our interactions are also in hope for that, achieving that goodness, that completeness, the abhyuday, the flourishment, which is all-round resolution. We all want all-round resolution. We all want happiness. We all want order. And that is why we are all relating to one another. It is in terms of that we're relating to one another. Then we recognize, how do I relate with you for both of our mutual flourishment? Then how do I relate with you for both of our mutual flourishment? And those are the things that we have to study and recognize and understand. Okay, we're going to break it down into the different values. One second. No. So that they can also hear you. I
was just saying, when you break it down into the different values, the different values in that, into each relationship, then you can see also what's missing. Like sometimes you have affection to someone, but you don't have trust, or they don't trust you or whatever. So you know where the gaps are to help you to kind of, in a more systematic way, address what you need to do and what you and what you how you need to help the other person if possible.
Yeah, it's like the significance of why we need to study the purpose and values of each relationship, because we have a general vague need for those values in each relationship, but we don't know what we need. But if we study it, we pay attention to it and we focus on it, we can recognize, oh yes, in our relationship, I wanted affection, we have affection, but I also wanted this other thing called respect, and that's not really there, and that's why there's this little bit missing. So we need to study what our relationship is about and then recognize this. It's not that we are creating it or imposing it, it's there, the need is there. It really makes it easy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder, can everything be brought in once recognized? Like, let's say there's no trust in our relationship, anything. There's no affection. Something is missing, something is there. Once you recognize that, I just wonder how easy it is to bring that in, or it is again a process, because you can't bring in things superficially. Recognizing them is one step, that it's not there, but that doesn't makes it happen, right?
Recognize it's not there is just the first step. Then you have to understand what it is that is not there, and why is that needed? What is its value? What is its relevance? And I think just something that was catching my attention was that when we recognize the purpose of a relationship, then we become committed to it naturally. So if we are not committed to a relationship really, then we have not understood its purpose. That's something that caught my attention. I feel like I want to think about it and see if that's what's happening really. When I feel like, why do I not feel completely committed to this particular relationship? Is it that I'm not seeing my role there or the purpose of that relationship? And if I do, then I become committed. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is very on spot, that in many relationships, we don't at least realize the purpose only of that relationship. You're not sure what purpose it serves. So then there's no commitment, it's just there. So, and then,
There
Yeah.
while it feels good, and then we don't know why it stops feeling good. And so then it's some sort of mystical thing. Oh, it stops feeling good now, I guess we part ways with it.
yeah. And all relationships have purpose, right? So it's just not not identifying them, not accepting them is the first fix, no? Not identifying the purpose of a relationship, because there's purpose to each relationship. And if you identify it right, then you'll work on it accordingly. So expectation setting will be right. Your commitment towards it will be right. Very interesting. I
It's
really like
confusing, now it's got more confusing. What is the purpose of a relationship? How do you
Purpose of
know, how to know what is the purpose? I just met you all. I don't know if there was a purpose. Now some purpose is coming up. Not be sure.
stuck, I think, when she comes back. So,
Good.
uh,
no, I heard
Yeah.
it played
अच्छा,
little
okay.
taste of flavor. No, yeah, that's what he's saying, that there is a purpose to each relationship. We don't know it, but when we feel it when
It
it's
is
not.
almost sounding, this is almost sounding there's a matlab in each relationship.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. There is meaning.
Matlab means a selfish matlab. I'm thinking of it in that way also.
Oh,
I need
it's not
this from her.
it's not selfish if it's mutual. No, both, everyone, there is a reason that everyone wishes to connect, and it's not one person's reason versus another person's reason. It is a mutually fulfilling reason. Therefore, it is not selfish. It is a universe. That's what he's saying. No, all of us are waiting for goodness. All of us are waiting for flourishment. All of us want all-round resolution and order. And for this, all of us also want to be together. And how we are together in achieving this all-round resolution will be different. Like how friends are together in supporting each other for achieving this state of goodness that all of us want will be different from how parents and children support each other in attaining all-round goodness, which will be different from how other types of relationships in supporting one.
When the purpose is over, then the relationship should be over.
The purpose is not over. It doesn't get over. The purpose is maintained. It is reached and then maintained. All-round resolution is a state of it's an internal state of fulfillment and completeness and knowing, okay, now in any situation, I'm confident, I am reliable, I can live this out with anyone in any way. That is what all-round resolution is. No? Then once you reach that, then you live it, then you evidence it.
Can I say something? So what are you? Am I there? Huh. So what, Manju ji was saying, abhi ki purpose we have just met. So purpose of our relationship. So how I see it is that purpose of our relationship is right now we are trying to learn something, or so I think what I see as purpose of our. Sorry.
I couldn't hear you for 2 seconds over there.
I'm saying, Manjuji was saying that what is the purpose of our relationships? We have just met. So, what I see the purpose of our relationship is we are in this trying to understand JV together. So, purpose of this relationship is, or more of a like, what is this relationship right now about? Is that we are doing it together. So, helping in supporting in each other's understanding, growth wherever we can. And that purpose might change later, but right now, like that's what my understanding of our purpose is of this relationship as of now. And it can evolve into different things in future.
Right. So you can say our purpose is abhyuday, our purpose is flourishment, or mutual flourishment. And then that purpose is a very broad umbrella thing, but it is met through the value of those relationships. So we'll go into more detail on how it kind of maps out. Actually, all the purpose of every relationship is that only. to support each other in our growth, our understanding, and our evidencing. But it plays out in different forms because our roles in each other are the relevance of our engagement is different. So if you are my sister, how will I support your understanding? It will not suffice if I just sit on a Zoom call with you 1 hour, 3 hours a week. That will not be enough for my supporting you or your supporting me. We need more support than that. If I'm your parent or I'm your child, that this much will not be enough. Even if I'm your friend, this much will not be enough. So there is some significance of each of these different types of participations in each other's journey. And we all need it. We mutually need each other to join each other on this. So that is what we understand. What is the significance of each kind of participation in one another's life? And when we start mapping those out, we recognize that there are only limited types of roles we play in people's lives. And there are these 7 types of roles. And with those 7 types of roles, there are some inherent, with each role, there is some inherent purpose and inherent value of that particular role compared to other types of roles. That is what has to be mapped out and understood. So that's what we'll do. This meeting is about to end in 2 minutes.
So before it tells us to go, let's go ourselves.
ठीक है. Bye.
Bye.